The hidden scam behind digital money. What if I told you the money in your bank account isn't even real? Think about it. You work hard, deposit your salary, and check your balance on your phone. But what if I told you those numbers on your screen are nothing but an illusion? Banks don't just store money. They create it out of thin air. And the craziest part, this is completely legal. But here's the real question. Are we all being scammed without even knowing it? Today, we're exposing the hidden scam behind digital money, how banks, governments, and corporations manipulate our wealth without us realizing it. And by the end of this video, you'll see money in a way you never have before. Because once you know the truth, you'll never trust banks the same way again. Let's begin. What is digital money? Now, before we dive into the scam, let's get one thing straight. What exactly is digital money? The money you use every day, whether it's in your bank app, PayPal, or credit card, isn't actually real in the traditional sense. Here's a fact that will blow your mind. 97% of all money in existence is digital. Only 3% is actual physical cash. Let that sink in. If everyone decided to withdraw their money at the same time, banks wouldn't have enough real cash to give to everyone. Sounds crazy, right? But this is exactly how the modern financial system works. Banks don't hold your money in vaults. Instead, they move numbers around on a screen. But if banks don't have the cash, then where does this digital money actually come from? That's where things get even crazier, because banks create money out of nothing. How banks create digital money out of nothing. Alright, now here's where things get shocking. Banks don't just store money, they create it. How? Through something called fractional reserve banking. Here's how it works. Let's say you deposit $1,000 into your bank account. You'd think the bank keeps your money safe, right? Wrong. The bank is legally allowed to loan out up to 10 times that amount, even though they don't actually have it. So when someone takes a $10,000 loan, the bank isn't giving them money from their vault. They just type a number into a computer and boom, new money is created out of thin air. That money never existed before. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by cash. It's just numbers on a screen. And the best part? They charge you interest on it. So banks are making a real profit off the money they never even had. Sounds like a scam, right? But it gets even worse. The illusion of wealth. Right now, if you check your bank balance, you probably feel like you own that money. But the truth is, your bank balance is just a promise. That number on your screen, it's not real cash sitting in a vault. It's just a bank saying, yeah, sure, we owe you this amount, just trust us. And that is where things get dangerous. Because if everyone decided to withdraw their money at the same time, the whole system would collapse. This is called a bank run. It's happened before. In 2008, during the financial crisis, people rushed to withdraw their money. And guess what? The banks didn't have it, because most of it never existed in the first place. And yet, we keep trusting the system. But the question is, should we? Because as we're about to see, this scam runs even deeper. The dark side of digital money. Alright, so now we know the banks create money out of thin air. But what's even scarier is how they use it to control us. Number 1. Inflation manipulation. Ever wonder why your money buys less and less every year? It's not just rising prices. It's because banks and governments keep printing more digital money, making your savings worth less. Let's break it down. In 1971, $100 could buy you a cart full of groceries. Today, that same $100 barely gets you a few bags. Why? Because the more money banks create, the less valuable each dollar becomes. And who benefits? Not you. banks and governments print money to bail themselves out, while the average person struggles with rising costs. Number 2, the debt trap. Think about this. Banks only make money when people take loans. So their goal, to keep you in debt forever. They offer credit cards, mortgages, student loans, all while knowing you'll owe them more than you borrowed. And here's the scary part. The system is designed so that total debt can never be repaid. Why? Because if every loan was paid off, the money supply would collapse. That's right. Without debt, the entire banking system would fail. Number 3, government control. Imagine a future where cash is completely gone. A world where every dollar is digital. Sounds convenient, right? Wrong. Because in a cashless world, banks and governments have total control. They can track every transaction you make. They can freeze your account at any time. They can erase your money in seconds. And here's the terrifying part. Central banks are already pushing for CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. A digital currency completely controlled by the government. Which means, if they don't like what you buy, they can block the transaction. If they want to tax you more, they can deduct it instantly. If they think you're a threat, they can delete your money. Sound crazy? China is already doing this with its social credit system, and other countries are quietly preparing to do the same. Still, think digital money is harmless? Historical examples of banking scams. Now you might be thinking, okay, but has this actually happened before? The answer, yes. Let's look at some real-world examples of how banking scams have destroyed economies. Number 1. The 2008 financial crisis banks created fake wealth by giving out risky loans. They knew people couldn't pay them back, but they didn't care. When the system crashed, millions lost their homes and jobs. And what happened to the banks? They got bailed out with taxpayer money, the same money they stole from you. Number 2. Countries where banks collapsed in Lebanon, 2019. Banks suddenly froze all accounts. People couldn't withdraw their own money. Some even robbed banks just to get their savings back. In Greece, 2015, banks restricted withdrawals to $60 per day. Why? Because they ran out of money. See the pattern? Every time there's a crisis, the banks save themselves. And the people, they lose everything. What happens if we go fully cashless? All right, so now we know that digital money is an illusion. But what if we actually eliminate cash completely? That's the world we're heading towards. And trust me, it's not good. Number 1, no privacy. Every transaction is tracked with cash. You can buy something without anyone knowing. But with digital money, every single transaction is recorded. Think about it. Want to buy something controversial? It's logged. Want to donate to a cause the government doesn't like? They know. Want to keep your financial life private? Too bad. Banks, corporations, and governments will have full access to your spending history. And that's just the beginning. Number 2, they can freeze your money anytime right now. If you have cash, you control it. But in a cashless world, they do. Say the wrong thing online, your account is frozen. Attend a protest, your funds get restricted. Government wants to increase taxes. They just deduct it instantly. Sounds dystopian. It's already happening. In Canada, 2022, the government froze the bank accounts of protesters. People weren't even charged with a crime, but they still lost access to their own money. Imagine that power in the wrong hands. Number 3, a single point of failure. Think about this. If your bank app stops working, can you still buy food? If a cyber attack shuts down the system, how will you pay rent? With cash, you always have a backup. But in a cashless world, hackers can wipe out bank accounts. Technical failures can paralyze entire economies. Governments can erase your wealth in an instant. No money, no control, no escape. That's the real danger of a fully digital economy. How to protect yourself. So, what can you do? How do you escape this financial trap? Here are some real solutions. Number 1. Diversify your assets. Don't keep all your money in a bank. Spread it out. Keep some physical cash for emergencies. Buy gold or silver, real money that holds value. Invest in crypto, but not the ones controlled by governments. Own real estate, tangible assets that banks can't erase. Number 2. Use decentralized financial systems. Consider using Bitcoin or DeFi platforms that aren't controlled by banks. Store crypto in a hardware wallet so it can't be seized. Number 3. Stay informed and question the system. Most people don't even realize this is happening, but now you do. The more people wake up to this scam, the harder it will be for banks to control us. So share this information. Talk to your friends, your family, your community. Because the more we rely on digital money, the less freedom we have. Are we already trapped? We started with a simple question. Is digital money a hidden scam? Now, you tell me. Banks create money from nothing. They keep us in debt on purpose. They control our finances and our freedom. So, are we already trapped in a system we can't escape? Or is there still a way out? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you found this video eye-opening, make sure to share it. Because knowledge is power. And the more people understand this scam, the less